You're listening to MicroPROgressions, FIT Writing and Speaking Studio tutors on thinking and thriving. Hi, my name is William. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a senior film and media student at FIT, and I'm a writing and speaking tutor at the Writing and Speaking Studio.
Hi, my name is Ashleigh Simpson. My pronouns are she, they. I'm a fashion design major, and I'm a writing and speaking tutor.
So Ashleigh, how are you feeling today?
Honestly, pretty stressed out. Like, the semester's like coming to an end. I feel like all the assignments are like due very soon.
Oh my god, that's too real. Are you at least working on anything that's like sort of fun?
Yeah, I think we just finished like the term garment seasoning. So like everyone has been posting theirs, like different photo shoots they took. So that's been so cool to see. But yeah, everything's been cool. It's just like coming to an end, so it's bittersweet, but also like everything's happening so fast. So
Definitely. Hey, I mean, you got 2 more years though, so and I hear that in the fall it might be in person, some kind of hybrid situation.
Yes. How do you feel about that now that you're on your way out?
How do you feel knowing that you've been screwed over? No. Honestly, it's like it is a little like bittersweet, but yeah, I mean, look, I don't really want to see people in general, so it's fine with me. Our guest today is actually a new tutor at the Writing and Speaking Studio. So I just wanted to ask you like what your new impressions are as a new tutor and some other things that you're picking up while you're working here.
I definitely have enjoyed working at the writing studio. They came to a club meeting of mine, the BSU, and they like talked about all the different things that they do. It was a meeting we set up with them just to let people know that there is help out there at FIT. But upon that, they even talked to us and were like, if you guys want a job, let us know, fill out the application. So I didn't know what to expect. I was just like, okay, I'll just help people edit their papers. Well, the new tutors and as well as the people that come in, we were all surprised when we found out it's a collaborative effort. So that put less pressure off me because I was like, okay, what do you think? Instead of like, change this, change that. So it definitely provided a sense of community.
What were your overall expectations of the Writing Speaking Studio before you started working here? Have you ever like scheduled a session before? And if not, just like in general, like what did you think your responsibilities would be?
I don't know. I had maybe did like 2-3 sessions in person. So based off that, I was kind of just like, I knew that I could come there with anything because I had came there before. Like the first time I went there, I know I had like a draft and I'm like, I know it's not finished, And they were like, it can come however you want. And then the next time, like every time I came after that, I had less and less when I started. Like I brought less and less. I'm like, after the draft, then I was like, I have this list of ideas of how I want to write this. And then I have the prompt of what we're supposed to do. I have the guidelines. Mm-hmm. So I got more and more comfortable.
No, that's great to hear.
So online, I was I was intimidated because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this online. But I felt pretty confident because of how many times I went there with like barely an idea in my head and then like came out with all this stuff I'm going to write about.
Yeah. I mean, like that's so cool to hear like how your experiences as the 2T informed how you would go about being a tutor. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that like, you already like picked up on like the casualness of it all. Now that you're a tutor, were there any expectations that were unmet or just like subverted for you rather?
I think the only thing that I would have said was like totally worked was because I thought that I would just be editing people's papers. Even though I've been to the writing studio before, I felt like I needed to have at least all this knowledge being the tutor now. Like, I don't know, I feel like something about that was just like, okay, my work is published on some website or, I have a blog. I thought I needed to have like all this experience and, it turned out that I had enough for I just had my experience. My experience was enough for the job. So like, I think that's something that I learned. And, being here, I think I didn't have anything that was just like warped. I just had to learn to be open-minded. And like I said, like my experience is the experience I need for the job. There's no prerequisite. It's just bring what you have.
Exactly. And that's so funny because like, again, like, I relate to you a lot there because that's what I thought too. Like who am I to be a tutor? Like when I don't like write like for myself as often as like some other like people, But like I feel like what's most important though is just like that open-mindedness that I mean I think you already had that, but it developed more for you, right?
Yeah, I think it was. Like in terms of writing, like just to be open to someone saying like, I have no idea what I'm writing about. And just like being like, well, let's just discuss it. Like, it doesn't need to be like, well, where's your draft so now I can review it. You know, some people are going to come in there and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. And you can be like, me either. Let's figure it out. You know?
Definitely.
It's just more of like a collaborative effort, like I said.
Now that you've started working at the writing studio for a bit and, you know, you have a new perspective on like the writing process as well, I just wanted to ask you like how that process has changed while working here so far.
For me personally, I haven't written that much on my own. I think it's just not in the normal format just because. But I definitely, in general, I definitely write even my ideas down a lot, even if it's totally irrelevant, just because I know how important it is to just for me to get it out there. I think writing in words are powerful, but I think just normalizing just writing what you're thinking in your head is just better than just leaving it in there. Especially when I go into a session with someone, I totally forget everything I need to do, everything I did before that. I'm like really there with them. So if I write something down, then it's like, okay, it's good. And I think I've also helped other people to do that too, because we'll just be talking and like, keep going. I'm just typing what you're saying just so we don't forget. Because we'll talk and somebody will be like, that's a great point. And then we'll both be like, what was the great point? We just forgot. So I think I definitely learned to write everything down, and like in both ways, with people and just on my own, just writing even ideas down. Yeah, I made myself get a journal, and at first, I don't know, every time I write in a journal, I just always would think I'm in a movie, and I'm like trying to it's like the cameo of me like writing my life story. But I just started making myself just write in there, not just, oh, this is my feelings, but like writing there, this is how I'm going to format my schedule for 2021. It's very random. It has everything in there and it's all over the place. But I needed that just to eliminate that everything had to be structured. Yeah. So I think that helps too.
Definitely. No, that's great to hear. I also wanted to ask you, like if your thoughts on writing and speaking in general has changed as well. And what I mean by that is like the way that we're taught how to do it, the way that like we perceive it and understand it just in general as well.
Yeah, most recently, we've been doing a lot of readings about being multilingual and just people bringing their own language and then applying it to institutions and things like that. And a lot of times with professors, they will unknowingly and knowingly correct the way you write and speak to fit into this like Americanized version of how the proper way to speak is. So a lot of times in our sessions, we kind of just been navigating how can we guide people to be like, this is the better tense of the word you're trying to say without totally changing the way, their own dialect of how they speak English or how they write. So that's been something that I never really considered, but I do think about that often in like identity when referring to language. So that's something that a new concept that's been introduced to me that I feel like is what makes literature itself very relevant and very important in like everything we do.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like it's so complex, but I never thought of it before. I'm just like, even the thing as simple as like pronouns, like I think that's just a sign of respect when you ask someone and you respect that and you like, you know, it seems like some people will be like, oh, well, just assume. I feel like asking someone, it just shows that I just want to be respectful. That's literally what it means when you say, what are your pronouns? I just want to be respectful. So I think appreciating someone's identity by just giving them the space and just being like, even in the session, like, so what do you want to talk about? And just giving someone to say, well, you know, English isn't my first language, and just letting them say like, okay, these are the things I'm worried about. These are the things that are troubling me. It just allows, and so that way they don't have to apologize for it. It's just like, oh, okay, so we'll work together. I'll write things down, you know, or we'll talk it out mainly because some people will be like, you know, I would just prefer to talk before we start writing right away. So like just giving people the space to just say, this is what I come with, this is my identity, and then just going from there.
Oh my God. Are you sure you're like a new tutor, Ashleigh? Because it feels like you've been like here for like years.
I feel like, yeah, it's definitely been the job that was meant for me.
Thanks for listening to this episode of MicroPROgressions, FIT Writing and Speaking Studio Tutors on Thinking and Thriving. If you're a student at the Fashion Institute of Technology, we offer one-on-one consultations with writing and speaking tutors to help you develop and present your ideas, written or spoken.
You can schedule an online appointment at fit.mywconline.com and find us on Instagram at FIT WriteSpeak.
Thanks for listening and tune in next time.